We have a new high. We have a new all-time high in Bitcoin. We also got a daily candle close above our high on Bitcoin. So that's very good. We got a nice confirmation here. So now what I'm looking at is where we're going to find support. Now, depending on how far the reaction takes place will determine how bullish we are. You can use several different tools to kind of determine bullishness in a reaction. A good rule of thumb is basically just look at the previous support level and see how we test that previous support. So we just broke through that resistance. We failed to hold the all-time high resistance as support, probably because we didn't extend over it. So the next area to be looking at is basically the last low right here, which is where we're kind of looking to find support here. Now, if we fail to hold this area, I would not be surprised for us to come down to kind of the $53,000 range down here at this previous resistance, now support. So we'd be looking at that general area at around 52.8 on my FTX chart. And basically every support level that we fall through will determine how bullish the asset is. So when we keep, moving to the downside, it just takes more and more time to repair that trend. I am overall bullish on what we're seeing. We have macro higher high. We have a new all-time high. This extension was quite extended, so I'm not surprised in the slightest to see some sort of reaction. Now, if we pull up a fib retracement tool, we can kind of determine where the high probability retracement could be. And we are basically, if we bounce right here at the 236, that's really bullish. Typically, we do get a little bit more of a retracement down to the 0.382. So, 57,000's in the cards. We got a lot of confluence at the $53,000, $54,000 range. So yeah, there is some downside potential. The behavior of the price action as it approaches those levels are going to be really important to take note of. If we get dumpy, the whole market gets dumpy. But if we kind of just slowly tick to the downside, A, that's showing strength, and B, that also gives altcoins the ability to outperform and rally. If we take a look at Bitcoin dominance, on the smaller time frames here on the 4-hour, we're trending down, baby. We have not broken below this low right here at 44.5%. If we can get below 44.5%, then there is a potential that we could shift the trend on the macro. We are below our 7 EMA here on the daily chart. This is it's an important chart to look at when you're interpreting altcoin season. On the higher time frames, let's start out on the daily. Trending in the right direction. We have not gotten our all-time high break yet on Ethereum. So Ethereum usually lags Bitcoin after a shakeout. So typically how the rotation happens during a shakeout event is you have a large shakeout in Bitcoin. It kind of dumps the whole market. The confidence needs to rebuild inside of the consolidation of Bitcoin. Bitcoin gives permission for crypto to rally. So Bitcoin will rally first, then kind of the permission for the altcoins to really get crazy is Ethereum starts to break out. We're seeing some bullishness inside of some of these Ethereum competitors like Solana. Solana's just on a tear. It's doing really, really well. So, there are outliers that are outperforming the market, so we can make note of those as well. But we haven't really seen a lot of the indicators that would show us that we've gone full degen yet. A good indicator of us being degenerates in the space is Doge. So if Doge starts really pumping, that's showing that retail sentiment and retail exposure, they're throwing caution to the wind. So we're getting close to a little bit of a breakout potential here, but we haven't quite broken out above this downward sloping line of resistance. We need to get above the 60 line on the RSI. Volume's kind of weak overall, but there's definitely kind of a spring type action here. Oh, this spring type action, this was the market-wide liquidation. So I hate to say I told you so, but if you go and check out my last video, I did say, leverage was piling on, open interest was getting quite high, and there was a probability of a liquidation event down to $50,000 to $53,000 in Bitcoin. Little did I know that some of these order books were so thin that we could see $8,000 Bitcoin on Binance US. So a part of that video and what I was saying in that video was just how if you're in this market and you've been trading using futures contracts for a while, you're at risk of kind of missing a really big opportunity, because you're going to be stuck in trading that kind of style where you're exposing your portfolio to liquidation risk, and you're having to keep all of your trades really, really tight. There's a time and a place to kind of, take more risk on with futures and take less risk. The order books are very thin. What does that mean? We know that liquidity is leaving the exchanges. We know that whales are taking coins off of the exchanges. Not only that, but DeFi is building and building and building. So a lot of the orders and a lot of the activity is actually happening directly on the blockchain. This is making the central exchange order books really thin, meaning that they're not filled with orders. So if there is some sort of event where there's a market sell or whatever, and a whale needs to fill on an exchange, you blow through. Like, whoever hit the sell button on that on Binance US is having a really bad day right now, because they lost a ton of capital on that market sell. Point I'm trying to make here is there's a high probability of getting stopped out. There's a high probability of liquidations. So moving forwards, as part of my strategy, I'm not using any leverage. Zero leverage, holding many spot positions where most of them, this is not financial advice. You have to take into consideration your risk tolerance, but I'm not even running stop losses. The next leg of the bull market, if we kind of, head up to higher highs and start to gain momentum and start to mirror some of the price structure that we've seen in previous cycles, it's going to get crazy. It's going to get really crazy, and it's going to be very easy for you as a futures trader to get shaken out of this market. And for me, I see more potential. I see higher upside potential just in the spot markets and than I do in the futures market. So take that into consideration. We're already seeing signals and signs of that occurring, as that flash crash, which happened in like a minute, liquidated a lot of positions, got people out of a lot of different positions. And this was exactly what I was saying had a potential of occurring. I didn't think it would happen so fast, but I did say. With those wicks, do normal limit buy orders trigger? So yes, they do. However, it needs to stay in that general area. So if your stink bid, or if your limit buy order is down there, it doesn't necessarily mean that it will fill, because it'll come down, somebody will get filled and it'll go back up. So there's kind of a lineup. There's a queue on your orders. So if your order is there and it comes down and you're just, it happened in a minute. It was a flash crash. It was less than a minute. It was like a 15-second flash crash. So even though it went there and it went to your trigger price, it doesn't necessarily mean that there was actually enough liquidity for your particular order to get filled. Somebody got filled and they got some free money, just picking money up off the ground. So somebody did get filled, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you would get filled. All right, good morning, Patty. How's it going? Dingo ate my Satoshis. Kahuna Organics, aloha. Robbie Wan Kenobi, hello, how's it going? Roswell, how's it going? Awesome. Yeah, so overall, proceed with caution. It's gonna get dicey out there. Let's kind of refresh what's going on with Bitcoin here. So yeah, I'm still expecting a little bit more of a retrace. We can test this area right at around 59.6 for a while. Yeah, but overall, I'm still bullish. I'm still macro excited. I think the next kind of extension target on Bitcoin, if we use a Fibonacci extension tool just to kind of give ourselves the next kind of leg up prediction, let's say we come down to this area and hold, we'd be looking at a 100% extension right at around $85,000. There's a lot of psychological resistance up there, and there's a lot of people who have targets in that general range. It's also confluent with kind of this previous top formation. Kind of this area will be in a zone of resistance for a lot of people, so there's some confluence up in the $85,000 to $92,000 range. $100,000 is going to be really big psychological resistance. A lot of people are going to get scared when we get up there, but yeah, if we break through it, things will get nuts. Bitcoin will be in the news, altcoins will rally, things will get really crazy if we find ourselves above $100,000. Which me personally, I do think will happen. Again, nothing here is financial advice, but because the markets are random. They're going to do what they're going to do. So, you know, I have my own speculation, I have my own expectations, but they're just, you know, some guy on the internet. Like, it doesn't matter. Okay. So yeah, let's take a look at Solana. Solana has been just on an absolute tear. Looks like a little bit of a double top right here. Oh, right, I was supposed to talk about the double top. So before we get into that, a lot of people talking about a Bitcoin double top. And a double top, it happens quickly. So everybody's like, oh no, we have a double top. This is the confirmation of a bear market. No, you know, we came up against an all-time high resistance. You're gonna test it a few times. So, you know, I did kind of expect that we would get a little bit more of an extension. I did say that in previous streams, but yeah, you know, I'm also not surprised to see some supply come in and some resistance at this area where we can come back down. A double top happens really quick. If we actually go and take a look at, I don't have it on FTX. FTX is too new. Let's go to Bitstamp. If you go to the previous cycle ended in a double top. And this is what a double top looks like. You have a blow off top, a parabolic rise, blow off top, huge shakeout, and then a V-shaped recovery to a lower high. That was just a classic double top. That's not at all. See, also here on the $14,000 rally, huge parabolic move, reaction back down, lower high. That's a double top. What we have in front of us right now is a distribution. A distribution right here. This was a typical distribution in hindsight. At the time I was too bullish, but hey, distribution right here down into accumulation. So we've had a long period of accumulation that has occurred in this general zone here. The accumulation took about, you know, 133 days of accumulation before we started really rallying. That's not a characteristic of a double top. Double tops happen quick. They happen in the context of a V-shaped recovery. They don't happen after one top, accumulation for 130 days, then another top. So you're gonna see a lot of it in crypto Twitter, in YouTube, everybody trying to scare you, everybody trying to shake you out of your positions and get you to doubts and this, that, and the other. There's a million reasons why that, you know, they'll probably shake you out of these positions. There's no reason to be bearish at this point. This price structure is just so tight. It's so bullish. I'm very happy with the price structure, the rally of these, like the structure of this candle is really, really tight. Like, look at how straight it is. When you're in distribution, things round over. This is very straight. Oops. So, you know, when you're in distribution, you get a nice rally and then it'll kind of round over and dump, round over and dump, round over and dump. That's showing weakness right here as well, kind of a weak rally into a strong dump, then a rounding over into a bigger dump. We have a strong rally and we're probably going to have a strong reaction, and then we'll have a strong rally again. Now that is very healthy price action. When you have tight spread and this kind of zigzag pattern where everything's really straight, I like that. That's showing that the bulls are in control. So as it stands right now, I don't have too much of a reason to be bearish. Am I expecting lower levels? Sure, you know, lower levels can absolutely come, but I'm also not worried in the slightest. Another one that I think is going to do well in the coming months is FTT token. FTX exchange. If you guys are not set up on FTX exchange, I know I shill this exchange all the time, but it's because I want to bring you guys good quality products. Most people are trading on Binance. Binance is shit. It's just, there's no comparison. Yes, if you want to trade all the freaking altcoins, does Binance have more altcoins? Yes. Do you need them? In my opinion, no. I love how clean and clear FTX exchange is. I like how you can have all of the orders right on the chart. I like that it's very visual. I like how they handle margin. I like that they don't use, hey, you know, click it to 10x and this, that, and the other. It's just a really professional exchange. I also like how they have Bitcoin options contracts, which is great for hedging. It's a really good exchange. If you guys want to support the channel and get yourself a free month in the trading group, you sign up for FTX, you get a free month. You also get 5% off all of your trading fees if you use my link down below. Go to thecryptojungle.com. I have a whole list of approved and verified applications. If you're ever wanting, my recommendations for certain apps, whether it's, a decentralized exchange, whether it's a centralized exchange, hardware wallets, any of those applications I have linked at thecryptojungle.com. Back to FTT, FTX, it's just a fantastic exchange. It's going to get more and more exposure. They just had their first kind of big game at FTX Arena. They're a powerhouse. It's one of the most professional exchanges in all of crypto, and they're going to be noticed. And their governance token, not their governance token, their staking rewards token is going to increase in value. I don't speak in too many certainties on this channel, but I can hold a very high conviction that FTT token is going to perform very well in the coming months. And I would not be surprised to see this thing even reach, as much as $500 per token. Sounds kind of unrealistic, but I do think that we could see an FTT token up and around $500. It's a really good exchange, and the demand for this token for people to benefit in terms of savings on fees will drive demand. Yeah, it's a good one. I've never been through a previous cycle top. Do Ethereum network fees get stupid high and everyone's trying to sell the top? And is any way to take less of a hit there? Really good question. Really good question. The answer is yes. Ethereum fees are going to be stupid high. Stupid high. Really, really high. Like, I would not be surprised to see like a sushi swap transaction cost maybe even $1,000 US. They're going to get stupid high. Ethereum in its current form will not be able to handle what's coming. The NFT markets, oh my God, it's going to be like $2,500 to do, a transaction at the all-time high. If you have assets that you are able to bridge or go into another layer 2, I see somebody moved over to Moonriver. Arbitrum is if you care about ETH security, if you feel comfortable under Ethereum security and you can bridge your assets over to Arbitrum or Optimism, that's a good option. We also have Polygon, which is building a ton of these applications into their sidechain. XDAI, XDAI is cool. It just doesn't have the adoption in terms of the dApps. There are plenty of layer 2s. Polkadot is kind of integrating as well. So if you have the ability to move over to a layer 2, I would do that sooner rather than later. Kind of monitor the gas fees, and if you see a lull, if you see a low day in the gas fees, consider bridging over, because a lot of people are going to get trapped in Ethereum. I love Ethereum. Don't get me wrong. I think Ethereum is the chain. A lot of people disagree with me, but that's because they're thinking really short term. I see the long-term vision of Ethereum. I see what's happening. I see it's building, and most of the dApps and most of the people that are thinking long-term are building on Ethereum. But it doesn't take away from the fact that Ethereum today is broken. Ethereum today is not working. There's too much competition. There's too much going on Ethereum, and that is not going to get better. That is going to get worse. So keep that in consideration. ETH is out of control. Left the network for Moonriver. How's Moonriver doing? Is it, I haven't, there's so many things, there's so many places you can go these days. How is Moonriver? FTM, yeah, we can take a look at FTM. FTM's is good. It's excellent, awesome. How's the liquidity? We should actually do a little bit of fundamentals on Moonriver. Yeah, all these layer 2s, they're cheap and fast. They're cheap and fast. Great band-aids, great solutions. Okay. Fantom just keeps on giving. Just keeps on giving. So it looks like we're actually breaking out here on Fantom. Now, it's in the context of, uncertainty in Bitcoin, so the follow-through will need to be monitored. But we have a breakout of the consolidation right here. Beautiful spring action as a result of that liquidation event that was pretty much market-wide. FTX was not heavily hit, by the way. FTX order books are thick. It's another reason to move over to FTX. If you don't want flash crashes, move to FTX because they have really good market making infrastructure over there. So yeah, we've broken out of this consolidation. If we can come back down and test the top of the range here at around $2.45, I think that would be a good opportunity to be a buyer. So if you do see the price heading down in that kind of general area, drop down to the 15-minute chart, look for a turnaround, look for some divergences. If you don't know what I'm talking about, join the VIP trading group and we can teach you how to nail your entries, teach you how to, buy the bottom, sell the top. Links below. If you don't have an FTX exchange account, you can use the coupon code WELCOME. But yeah, Fantom, it's got momentum, it's got the volume. The volume is getting higher. It's getting higher. So you can see the general volume back here compared to here. There's a lot more network activity and there's a lot more trading, at least on FTX, going on with Fantom. We're breaking out of another consolidation. The assumption is higher levels. The high probability setup is that we head to higher levels. So Fantom is looking good in the short to medium term, but the momentum is there. Momentum is there. There's other ones that haven't quite gained their momentum just yet. A lot of excitement about NFTs on Fantom. NFTs, follow the hype on NFTs. NFTs are completely overvalued. I'll just start off this conversation by saying that, it's really overvalued and really diluted. For those who weren't around in 2017, we had our own kind of craze called the ICO craze, where everybody was plugging in Ethereum to get, the brand new tokens of a new project. That space got really overheated. It got really diluted. And that's what's happening in the NFTs right now, is it's getting really hyped, really overvalued, really diluted. It will crash, okay? There might be some survivors inside of the NFTs, some of these NFTs that kind of represent wealth, and it's like a flash of wealth, the CryptoPunks, Bored Ape Yacht Club, the Crypto Apes or whatever it is, there might be some survivors. They're still going to suffer an 80% retrace, but they still might also have a future in terms of a status symbol. So that's kind of the placeholder of a lot of these big NFTs, is they're going to be a status symbol. Holy shit, this guy's got, a $500,000 profile picture. What a baller. That's what they're for. It's going to get really ugly for the NFT market in the bear market. So have a mindset, have an exit strategy, have some sort of, plan in regards to how you want to handle NFTs. But in the meantime, any infrastructure that's making NFTs cheaper, faster, and more available to the public is something that you definitely need to pay attention to, because there's a mania going on. There's a craze. It's a complete bubble. So, there's momentum in that space. Okay, can you take a look at Harmony? Yeah, we can take a look at one. I don't know if Miles still watches this show. I hope he held on to his one. Keeps on going up, 27 cents. My God, we were trading Harmony down here at fucking fractions of a penny. Did we hold? Nah, no, we didn't hold long enough. I have a few of these that just, should have traded less and held more, but it is what it is. You're going to have winners and you're going to have losers. So we're breaking out of the macro cup and handle. Nice backup on top of here. It looks like it's ready to go for another run. Let's kind of zoom in on this general area. Breaking out of the consolidation as well. So we're seeing a lot of breakouts. We're seeing a lot of breakouts market wide. Now, don't take every breakout. You don't have to be in everything. I think it's really smart for you guys, if you're new, narrow your focus, because if you're over diversified now, you're going to have like 100 assets by the end, and you're not going to be able to execute properly on your selling plans. Consolidate, focus, think about the different sectors. Do you want exposure to smart contract platforms? Do you want exposure to NFT infrastructure? Do you want exposure to DeFi? Do you want exposure to you know, maybe some of these algorithmic currency printers, or, you know, something, you know, like Maker, or some of these DAOs. Do you want to be exposed to some of the DAOs? Narrow your focus so that you're able to be liquid. If you're holding more than if you're holding more than 25 assets, you're holding an index. You may as well just go to FTX and buy the shitcoin index, the altcoin index, and the DeFi index. You know, you may as well just consolidate your holdings into 3 instead of 25. Over diversification is not really good. I know that this space is exciting and you want to have exposure to all these different things, but at the end of the day, you can become too diluted. Weighing the value of getting into the DOT crowd loans and having DOT be returned in the bear market versus the potential net tokens received. Any thoughts on that? I made good money on this on the KSM What's. Okay, so really good question. There's a lot of people considering this. What I would recommend is think really long term, and think of kind of like it either works or it doesn't. And I know that that sounds really simple, but the only way that you're able to manage risk on that is with size. So if the size that you're required to put in is something that you want or need in the next like 3 to 5 years, don't think like just into the end of the bear market, because you have to wait for those assets to go back up. If you're talking 3 to 5 years and you have faith in Polkadot, which I think, you know, Polkadot has a chance to be a really good blockchain. The coins that you're going to be getting, though, you know, maybe you sell them when they print, when they go into your wallet. I don't know. Definitely take more advantage of those coins during the bull market, because I think they distribute the coins to you during the bull market as well, and your DOT is locked up into the bear market. I think as long as we're bullish, you should be considering, you know, managing those trades and have a plan to sell those assets. Then when we head into the downtrend and head into a bear market, maybe just start accumulating and hold. But yeah, it's a really interesting question, and a lot of people are kind of considering it. Just make sure that you're not locking up too much capital, that if it all goes to zero, you're going to be devastated, because that is a possibility. That is a possibility. There's nothing that says that, you know, we have to go to Polkadot. Does Polkadot have a chance of being successful? Yes, but everything in crypto is probabilities. So you have to weigh the probabilities, weigh the risk, and understand, which you already do. You already understand that you're going to be locking stuff up into a bear market. So when you're into a bear market, it's going to be worth, you know, pennies on the dollar. So if you understand that risk and you're prepared to take it, I say go for it, because it's a good venture capital decision. Just understand that there's severe downside risk. It's out of your control. It's in a lockup. So. Any chance of getting your thoughts on Proton XPR? Okay, new question here. Could you explain what bridging to layer 2 means? Yes. So the Ethereum network is, you know, part of Ethereum scaling, meaning, you know, we can offer it to more people and make it cheaper. The way that we scale is actually through what's called a layer 2. So you may have heard the term roll up. I'll just do a quick diagram here to kind of explain how the blockchain scaling works, and apologies to anybody who thinks that this is a little too technical, but it's a good question, so I want to talk about it. Transactions, and it consolidates it into one. And then instead of thousands of transactions going to where it's expensive, you have one, significantly reducing the fees. So that's kind of the idea of a layer 2, is it's reducing the amount of data going into the security layer. So layer 1, Ethereum, is considered the security layer. So anytime you're doing something that requires a lot of security, you're going to do it on the base layer. And then stuff that doesn't necessarily require a high degree of security, you might do on a layer 2. Now, bridging to layer 2 is kind of interesting, and there's a lot of infrastructure around that. If you're not in the Discord, feel free to jump in. We can kind of give you some links and point you in the right direction in terms of where you can go to bridge over. But there are several side chains. So you might have heard of Polygon or Matic. And what Matic is is it's a separate blockchain that's on the side of Ethereum. So it's Ethereum compatible, meaning that any token that exists on Ethereum can also exist on Matic. And a lot of these applications are moving over to Matic. Like if you do yield farming on Aave, Aave is available on Matic, Aave is available on Avalanche, and it's a way for you to take Ethereum activities and bring it over to a sidechain where it's cheap and fast. So when you bridge, you do have to do one more Ethereum transaction, but when you're over there, then it's cheap. So, oh God, it's a big topic. It's a big question. You know, the Ethereum to Polygon bridge website, and you hook up your MetaMask wallet on the Ethereum network, and you say, I want to put Ethereum into Polygon, and then your address will be the same. It'll just be on a different network, and then you just approve a wallet transaction as though you're sending over, you know, Ethereum to a buddy or whatever, or an exchange, and then your funds will be received on the Polygon network, where everything you do from that point is going to be really cheap, really cheap, like pennies. Like Ethereum, it's like $50. Polygon, it's like a penny. So really significant difference. So, you know, it's a good thing to kind of become hands-on with. And if you want, you know, we do DeFi courses and DeFi, we help a lot. And we can also point you in the right direction on the free side of the server as well. So if you're watching on Twitch, no, you're watching on YouTube, you know, follow the links in the description, or actually just go to thecryptojungle.com, click the approved applications, click on the Discord link. It'll bring you into our server, and we can get you some links and some reading material on how to bridge assets from one chain to another. Yes, just make sure you're doing ETH to ETH instead of wrapped ETH. Yes, it'll wrap on your behalf. Thoughts on Rune again? It's finally breaking out again. Yeah, Rune has a breakout. It's looking good. Breaking out of the consolidation, breaking past the high. You know, as soon as we can get past this high, I think it'll be off to the races. They just launched ERC compatibility on the Thor decentralized exchange. So now we have atomic swaps, which means, you know, native currency. We have a decentralized exchange that deals with native currencies across all blockchains. Not all, but, you know, the important blockchains. So, and they just launched ETH compatibility in ERC20 tokens. So we now can swap real Bitcoin for real Ethereum on their native blockchains using a Ledger wallet. It's a big deal. It's really cool. You know, atomic swaps are something that have been worked on for a while. Now, of course, there's going to be risk with anything brand new. Rune experienced a hack. That's what caused this downtrend in the first place. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that everything is safe. Everything is experimental. You're so early. Everything is just so sketchy for the most part right now. But they're building and they have a good product. And as far as I can tell, as far as I know, they have the only product, the only decentralized exchange that exists where you can swap Bitcoin, native Bitcoin from a ledger, and swap it for ERC20 tokens, which is a big deal. They have other stuff too, like Binance Smart Chain and Polygon network and stuff like that. But just the ability to swap ERC20s with the Bitcoin network is really, really cool. Okay, and we just went down a very fundamental path there. Yeah, so that's pretty much it from the technical side. We took a little bit of a fundamentals detour as well. Binance shit chain, you got it. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Binance Smart Chain. You know, we may as well look at BNB though, because they are doing an upgrade, an infrastructure upgrade. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a rally. They're also doing, I believe they're doing a burn. So we can take a look at Binance shit chain. I don't like this blockchain because it's full of scammers. There's a lot of really shitty scammy projects on Binance Smart Chain. So if you're new and you're, you know, hanging out on PancakeSwap and stuff like that, just understand that from my experience, the highest ratio of scam projects out there are built on Binance Smart Chain. Binance does not do much to protect its users. Binance really doesn't give a shit if they can make a buck. So, you know, it is what it is. Understand that if you want a cheap and fast blockchain with good products, I highly suggest that you become familiar with the Solana ecosystem. Solana does things a lot differently, and they have the ability to determine price more fairly. Now, if you kind of, you know what you're doing, the gains can be potentially better in Binance Smart Chain, but they're coming in the context of a scam. So, you know, if you don't understand what you're doing, and if you don't, you know, have the ability to identify fraudulent behavior, then I would probably stay off of Binance Smart Chain. However, you know, BNB, you know, the scammers need to buy BNB to run their scams. So there's a demand characteristic there. You know, these people need BNB to launch their shitcoins. So the demand for the BNB token may continue to rise. So look for a breakout above $500. I think if you get a clean break above $500, this coin could rally. That would be full on confirmation once you get above 683. If you get an all-time high break, things could get silly for BNB. But yeah, just be aware that when you're trading on PancakeSwap and you're on the Binance Smart Chain ecosystem, that's the highest probability that you're going to be exposed to scammy behaviors. Okay, was actually doing bridging out of ETH this weekend. Which one, Polygon, Avalanche, Other, do you think has more liquidity? Rubric needs to swap and also does the best price cross-chain. So as far as liquidity, I'd say Polygon. Matic and Polygon have really, really good liquidity. You know, as far as the better layer 2, if security is an issue, I would trust Arbitrum. Arbitrum is a really good layer 2. It's not as popular because, you know, Arbitrum doesn't have a governance token, so people are like, well, if I can't buy the token, fuck it. But you can buy the token. It's called Ethereum. Arbitrum has better security but less liquidity. Polygon is going to have more liquidity. Avalanche is gaining in liquidity as well, though. So a lot of these side chains are bootstrapping their liquidity with other types of protocols like there's the one on SushiSwap is Tokemak, which is a governance liquidity provider, an automated market maker, a decentralized autonomous organization that provides liquidity for exchanges. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on the liquidity side right now. We're kind of creating a lot more infrastructure to get the retail liquidity out and kind of institutionalize and govern large-scale market making in a DAO. So there's just a ton of really cool stuff that's coming down the pipe. I don't really fundamentally agree with primarily using liquidity pools as the way to make markets, but it's the best that we can do right now because our throughput just isn't good enough. We can't support a decentralized order book, but you know, there's still a ton of innovation coming into the space overall. I feel like this was probably the most tech jargon stream I think I've ever done. My apologies to anybody who's new, and I'm just speaking German over here. These streams are usually a little bit more focused on the TA, but you guys are asking really good fundamentals questions, so I'm feeling enthralled to discuss. But yeah, if you're new, don't worry. Like this stuff takes time to learn. This is a very new ecosystem. Like cryptocurrency and blockchain is going to change the world. Now, things don't change the world when they mirror what is familiar. They change the world when they create something new and different. So, of course, it's not going to make sense. But, you know, if you're subscribed here, I'll do my best to, you know, offer a place where you can ask these types of questions, and I will try to make it not too tech sounding and try and simplify it a little bit. Completely scaled out of Binance Smart Chain, not worth it in my opinion. Yeah, there's other options out there. Plus it's quite centralized, which defeats the purpose of crypto. So Solana, to be quite honest, you know, Solana's centralized. They have an on-off switch. They have a target. They can be taken to court. You know, they can be shut down. There's a lot. Hell, even Ethereum is centralized to a degree. I'm not sure if it could ever be shut down, but the Ethereum Foundation can be shut down, and then we would have to reorganize the DAO. But yeah, you know, there's a lot of... The only truly decentralized coin out there is Bitcoin. A lot of people don't agree with me on that, but you know, there's no leader. There's nobody to point a finger at. There's nobody to put a gun to their head. There's Bitcoin billionaires, I get it, but the token distribution was pretty fair. And, you know, it's in a free market, there's going to be those that have more power than others, but having more power is not a measure of centralization. It's a measure of a free market in a capitalist world. So there's always going to be winners and losers. The token distribution is fair on Bitcoin, and the fact that nobody is at the helm, nobody runs it. It was this immaculate conception of cryptocurrency and cryptography, and it's never going to die. Bitcoin's the most decentralized. ETH has so much more scam projects. I disagree, man. I mean, there's scam projects everywhere, but I think the ratio between legitimate projects, you know what? You're right to a degree. There are a lot of scams on ETH, and there are a lot of scams on Binance Smart Chain. The difference for me is the ratio of legitimate projects that have a long-term vision are building on ETH, and the amount of, you know, legitimate projects that are building on Binance Smart Chain. Binance Smart Chain is not a long-term solution. So if you're, you know, spinning a narrative that Binance Smart Chain is going to be the best, you know, decentralized offering out there, it's not. You know, Ethereum has it beat on decentralization. That's why it's expensive, because there's the blockchain trilemma, where it's either scalability, security, or interoperability, whatever it is. So Ethereum is the most secure and the most decentralized, and that's also why it's so expensive. There's always a trade-off. The long-term vision, the long-term innovators that are creating the financial system of legitimate long-term projects that are designed to eliminate some of the traditional offerings are being built on Ethereum. Binance, it's just filled to the brim with scams. I'm not going to go ahead and say that ETH doesn't have scams, but there's way more on Binance. Alchemix, what are your thoughts on the current price action? Would you take a position? So I actually fucking nailed the bottom on Alchemix. I took a position on Alchemix at like, was it that low? No, yeah, it was right here is where I took a position. So I got in at 250. I'm already in. I think it's a really good play. You know, if you go on to the weekly, we've got a weekly divergence. There's not a lot of price history here, but you can see we have a low, a lower low, and then really oversold condition with a higher low structure on the weekly. I think that this is an undervalued project in terms of its potential price action, but the other thing to take into consideration is the fact that this is simply just a governance token, so there's no real intrinsic demand for people to buy this token outside of wanting to contribute to the DAO. Now, there is, when I look at crypto as a whole, it's like every single sector has kind of pumped except for one. And the one sector or the one narrative that hasn't been spun yet is the narrative of the DAO and how important it is to be able to hold voting power on these decentralized protocols. Right now, the DAO, the governance tokens, have been released as far as farming. So anybody who's doing farming and liquidity providing, they're getting these governance tokens for free, and then they sell it onto the market, and they're not really participating in voting or anything like that. But the one bubble we haven't seen in crypto yet is the DAO bubble. We haven't seen a decentralized autonomous organization bubble. So we could see this kind of heat up. We could see some of the narratives begin to spin on the importance of a DAO. But yeah, you know, I think Alchemix, it's a cool project. It allows you to take a loan with no liquidity, or sorry, without a liquidation. So if you want to have a leveraged position inside of DeFi, you can lock up your ETH, or you can lock up your DAI in Alchemix, and you can get a no liquidation position. That's really cool. That's really cool that you can apply leverage and not have a liquidation. So, you know, it's a pretty cool protocol. I think it's a much better protocol than Spell, you know, with the magic internet money. But, you know, it's not up to me to decide. It's up to the market participants. But we have broken out of this channel testing on top and a little bit of a bull flag. If we can break above some of these highs, then we're really going to be off to the races on this one. But yeah, you know, until we can get above basically like $500, I'm not going to get too excited. 495, we'll call it a clean 500. Until it's above 500, it still has the potential to retrace and make even a lower low. So there's that potential as well. But as it stands right now, I'm in a position. I like the protocol. But yeah, it is what it is. It hasn't broken the structure just yet. It's still lower lows and lower highs. Oh, sorry to the viewer on Twitch, no links allowed. So I've got a few more minutes before I got to get out of here and head into the virtual classroom. So for those who are in VIP, get your notebooks ready and let's talk some fundamentals in the VIP trading room. Get ready for the weekend ahead. Oh, that reminds me, bit of a schedule change. I am going to be traveling out of Asia, heading back to North America. So the stream schedule will change. The virtual classroom schedule will change. More to come on that. I'm going to formalize a schedule and make it so that you guys can ping it in the Discord and use a command to see the schedule at any given time. But yeah, there's going to be a little bit of a disruption in the regular schedule moving forwards, and that'll just be until I get back to the US. What is your take on IPO coins such as XDC and XRP? I'm not a big fan of XRP, to be perfectly honest with you. I think that XRP... I think that Bitcoin does what XRP is trying to do better. You know, XRP is trying to be... I know that this is XDC. So XDC has been on a really good rally, so kudos to anybody that got in there. But in terms of what's going on with XRP, and people fucking hate me when I say this, but you know, I'm just looking at what's happening in the market. So you can hate me for my opinion, but my opinion is actually fact. XRP's claim to fame is cross-border remittance and cross-border cash settlement. Show me the app where it does that, because there's no infrastructure there. You can have a Ripple wallet on one side and you can have a Ripple wallet on the other side, but you know, Bitcoin and its Lightning network now does the exact same thing with cash settled finality using Twitter and the Lightning network and Strike. Like, anyways, yeah, there's room for more people to do the same thing. You know, it's not just all about one, but I do think that currently the Lightning network does a better job. I think that currently the Lightning network is actually being used more for what XRP claims that they want to be used for. Not to say that they can't do it, I'm just saying that they aren't doing it. That's all. And this is not arguable, these are just facts. It's not my opinion, this is literally what's happening. So we can take a look at XRP. XDC, it's doing really, really well. I don't have an opinion on it. Because it's tied to XRP and I don't have an opinion on XRP. What we want to see for XRP to rally is we need to see a break above this level right here. So there's a downward sloping line of resistance. Notice how defensive I am with, you know, a countering opinion. You guys are brutal in the comments. When I give you like an argument to the contrary, I just get ripped apart. And that's why most YouTubers won't do it, because they just don't want to hear, they don't want to hear all the negative comments. But I'm just offering an opinion. I'm some dude on the internet fucking in Bali in a bedroom with a fucking tank top on. Like, do I look like a financial expert? I'm a dude that knows how to trade cryptocurrency, and I know how DeFi works, and I'm here to offer as much knowledge as I can, but I can't keep track of everything. XRP could break out here. So if you get a move above this line of resistance and get it to hold and start breaking out some of the highs, we're off to the races. We're off to the races. Fundamentals and technicals don't have to line up, but XRP has been in a very, very long consolidation. Going back to the theory of the Wyckoff method, the longer something is in accumulation, the higher the markup price. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to get to engine today. This is the last note. So the higher the markup price potential. We have this huge kind of cup and handle formation that's happening on XRP. It's just obscene. So, under the right context and under the right narrative, I think XRP could do really, really well. Again, I don't agree with the fundamentals of XRP. And I think that Bitcoin Lightning Network does what it says that XRP is doing better. But the market participants are the truth. The market participants are the measure of legitimacy in this space. And if we start to break out and get above these levels, you'll see a $10 XRP. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised to see it do a 10x. But it needs the right context to do that. And, I think that there are competing products that will give it a run for its money. But anyways, so that is all the time I have for today. If you guys enjoyed this content, please leave it a like. It does help out the algorithm. If there's somebody that you want to share this content with, go ahead and share it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to sign up for VIP, links below, go to thecryptojungle.com, check me out, check out the approved applications list, and join us in the free Discord. Just go into the website, click Discord, it'll send you right in. And yeah, that's all the time I have for today. Please trade safe. It is a jungle out there. Peace.